So hello guys, this is Elochukwu from Prime Concept Academy. So like I told you, I'll be showing you how to draw the diagram now in this particular class. I'll be showing you how to draw this diagram without having to do that experiment. We have done our calculations and we obtained these values. We calculated and obtained these values. So the next, I'll be showing you how to reproduce the diagram, how to draw the diagram. I'll be doing that very fast. So now what you're meant to do, it's unfortunate that we don't have a prism here. So you get your prism in the lab. All you need to do, you can either draw with your prism or you measure the dimension of your prism. If this were to be our prism, all I need to do is to measure the dimension of the prism, measure the length of the prism, measure the breadth, and I'm okay. I'm good to do all my experiments. So then you can still use your prism. So what I'm going to use now, I'm going to assume that the length of my prism is 10. I'm going to assume that the length of the prism is 10 cm and the breadth is, say, 5 cm. So I'm going to assume that the length is 10 and the breadth is 5. So with that, I'll be producing this diagram. Now, if the length of the prism is 10 cm, so we'll have something like this. So be careful with this so that you draw it very straight. I'm just doing this anyhow. So be careful with yours. So I'm only trying to illustrate to you how to handle this. So assuming these are prism. Now the distance from where your normal is going to be, I'm going to label this, as we can see. I'm going to label it, this A, B, C. So I'm going to label this A, B, C, D. So I've labeled this. So and then I have my normal. That's the next thing to draw. So throughout the experiment, you're going to assume your normal to be located at the same distance. So probably 1/3 of the whole length. So 1/3 of the whole length should give us 1/3 of the length from here to here is 10. So 1/3, 1/3 times 10. 1/3 times 10. So 1/3 is just approximately 3.3. So that is where my normal is going to be. So I'll be drawing my normal. Let's say this is where I have the points. So my normal is going to be located at this point, and that's what I'll use throughout. Not in the first one I drew my normal, the next one I'll draw it here. No, if you're maintaining 3 cm, let it be 3 cm for the whole of the experiment. So I'll be using this 3 cm as that. So to draw my normal, this is my protractor. Of course, you have your center line. This is your 90-degree point. Then you have a line here. This is your guide. This line here is your reference point. I hope that is clear. Yeah. This line here is your reference point. You have your 90-degree. So you place it on this outline such that this line here lies on the outline. So we'll have something like this. And then on that particular point I marked the center. The center of my protractor will be on that point I marked as my normal. So this is my 90-degree. So this is my 90-degree. So I'm going to connect it. So from this point, this is my normal. This is my normal. I've drawn my normal. The next thing is to measure angle I as 30 degrees. So I'll still place it like that. I place that 30 degree. 30 degree actually is from the normal. You measure 30 degree from normal. So from 90 to 80 is 10. From 80 to 70 is 10. From 70 to 60 is 10. So from, that's to say, from 90 to 60 is actually how many degrees? 10, 20, 30. So it's 30 degrees. So you mark that point. I hope you understand what I'm doing.
Yes.
So that is the point marked. So you connect it to the center, to your normal. So this is what we have. So since you're actually drawing this, you're not doing this in the lab. So it's expected that normally if you're doing this in the lab, you're expected to have pins. So pin 1 and pin 2. So all you just need to do is to punch that hole in the lab. So I'll call it pin 1. Punch the second hole, call it pin 2. So this is what you have. Don't forget to do that. Very important. Then this angle, don't forget to label it. So this is 30 degrees. That's the angle of incidence. Then the next thing is to draw, as you can see, this is what I'm following. The next thing is to draw the refracted ray. The refracted ray. So of course, to draw the refracted ray, we've already calculated our angle of refraction as 20 degrees. So I'll place my protractor this way. The reverse way, the same thing, so that it will be on the normal. So I'll measure 20 degrees. So from 90 to 80 is 10, 80 to 70 is 20 degrees. So this is my 20 degree. This is my 20 degree point. I've marked it. So I'm going to draw from there. So I'll connect it to the other plane of the prism. So I've drawn this line now. That is my refracted ray. So I'll measure this angle, which is 20 degrees. So you measure it, you label that. So this is what we have. Now what is left for us is to draw our emergent ray. This is our emergent ray, so that's the next thing to draw, our emergent ray. So of course you can see that this is a dotted line. So we don't need to necessarily draw, but we can still draw. So we create, to be able to draw our emergent ray, we create a normal here. So we have, let me use dotted line to create that normal. Sometimes I call it imaginary normal. So you notice that this is 30 degrees, this is 20 degrees. So if you look at this, you discover that these are alternate angles. These are alternate angles from geometry and mathematics. These are alternate angles. So and we know that alternate angles are equal. So it means if this is 20 degrees, this has to be what? 20 degrees. And if this is 20 degrees, it means that the emergent angle should also be what? 30 degrees. Since this is 20, this is 30, then if this is 20, the emergent angle should also be what? 30 degrees. So for the sake of your experiment, you can decide to, instead of using 30, you can use a value that is around 30. So you may decide to use 29 or 31 or even 30. But I would advise to always use a value that is around the exact value. So I'll be using 29 as my emergent angle. So I'll place it the same way on this. Then I'll measure 29. So this 10, 20, this 29. So this is my emergent ray. This is my emergent ray. So the same way you write pin 3 and what? Pin 4. So and we are done with it. So you can do for 40, 50, 60 and 70. This is how simple it is. I hope it's clear to you. Yeah. So please do, if you find this video valuable and educative, do subscribe to our channel for more, and try to share the video with your friends and your various groups, class groups. Try to share and let others know about what is happening. So this is Elochukwu from Prime Concepts Academy. You'll be getting more. We have a series in chemistry. We have a series in mathematics. So do subscribe to our channel on physics. You'll be getting a lot of these videos that would help you, especially in your exams, to make A's, because that's our target, to set students at their prime, at the prime of their abilities. Thanks for watching.